into nothing. Oh, I'm gonna leave this world for a while. Hey everybody, Allie here with my bestie Bert. She's gonna do her best to ruin my do. We've also got one of my favorites here. I call this my peanut butter and jelly smoothie. I put frozen blueberries and strawberries. I put peanut butter powder, Greek yogurt, protein powder, oats, green tea that's sweetened with a little bit of honey. It is so good. And you know who else loves it? This little bird. She goes crazy for it. The only downside is it turns her poops blue. Really hard to clean. Anyway, Alexa, pause. Let me set the scene for you. It's winter. The sky is gray. It looks like the clouds are full of snow. It's windy. Maybe there's a little bit of a light drizzle that's freezing on the streets, making your life a living hell. You don't want to go anywhere. You do not want to go anywhere when it's like this. What you want to do is you want to snuggle in to your warm house. You want to sit under a heated blanket. You want to wear your cozy sweater pants. These are awesome, by the way. I should put a link in the description. These pants are so comfy. And your fluffy slippers. And you want to sit on your sofa with a Hallmark movie or a football game and a bowl of something that is going to warm your soul. I have got the answer. It's beef bourguignon. It sounds fancy. It's got a French name. If that bothers you, if you're offended, we'll just call it beef stew, okay? But it is the best beef stew you are ever going to taste. Look at this. When I make my smoothie, I take the blender part, and when I unscrew it, I give it to Bert. That's her special treat. So beef bourguignon originates from the Burgundy region of France. And like I said, it's just beef stew, but it's got wine in it. Oh my God, so it's so good. It's so good. Let me grab my phone so that we can go through all the ingredients. I don't want to leave anything out here. And feel free to customize this however you like, but this is how I like to make it. I actually came up with this beef bourguignon recipe earlier this year, like, you know, probably around like Super Bowl season or whatever. And it's really good, but I've never been happy with the way the photos came out. So I decided over this holiday break that I would make it for dinner for me and my boys. And while I was doing that, I may as well make a video and reshoot it, right? So here is everything you're going to need in order to make this comforting beef bourguignon recipe. It's going to start with some bacon. I usually buy the thick cut bacon, but any kind will work. You're also going to look for, in your supermarket, you're going to look for beef cubes. It doesn't really matter what cut because it's going to sit and heat very, very gently. It's going to cook low and slow for a really long time. So if it's a tougher cut of meat, it's all good. Over time, it will get nice and tender. I'm talking like falling apart tender. So good. Melts in your mouth. So beef cubes, salt, garlic powder, pepper, my triumvirate of seasonings for all things savory, right? A little bit of butter, some mushrooms, and I want to bring something up about mushrooms. Let's save it for the end. I'll tease it right now. I have some thoughts on mushrooms. I want to hear what you guys think about this idea that I had with mushrooms. Stay tuned. Carrots. I just use baby carrots. I just buy a little bag of baby carrots and toss them right in. That way I don't have to peel or chop or anything like that. It works great. Pearl onions. I highly encourage you to buy frozen pearl onions. The fresh ones are a nightmare to try to peel. The frozen ones, they come already peeled. You can just rip that bag open, throw it into the pot. You don't have to do a darn thing. A little bit of tomato paste, a little bit of all-purpose flour. This is going to thicken the sauce and make it really rich, give it a nice body. Red wine, very important. I mean, that's kind of the namesake of the dish is beef bourguignon. So if you want to be really authentic, then look for a red wine that's from the Burgundy region in France. Bert loves that idea. You're also going to need a box of stock. Beef stock. Beef stock is ideal since this is a beef dish, but if you don't happen to have any in your cupboard, then go ahead and use veggie stock or chicken stock. It'll work just great. I also like a few sprigs of herbs. Those are really gonna give it like a little something special. Right, Bert? Yes, yes, herbs are special. And for a dish like this, I would recommend using a woodier herb, such as rosemary or thyme. Tweet to wee, tweet to wee. That's our new favorite word. Tweet to wee. Sometimes it sounds like she's saying trick or treat. Trick or treat, trick or treat, trick or treat. Anyway, and then the last ingredient that I like to add is just a strip of orange peel. This is really going to give your beef bourguignon a very special, unique flavor. It may sound a little strange, but trust me, orange and beef go so great together. So just grab your veggie peeler and just peel off just the colored part. Try not to get too much of that white pith, because that's a little bit bitter. Not the worst thing in the world, but you know, we just want the essential oils from the orange peel itself and not really any of that bitter pith. So just like maybe an inch or two, 3-inch long strip of orange peel. You're going to toss that in the pot, and it's going to make your beef bourguignon so super special. Now for the method. This is how we make the most incredible, right? The most incredible beef bourguignon that is ever going to touch your pretty little lips. Get ready, get excited. It starts with bacon. So toss a few slices of bacon into your pot, let them cook down. They are gonna release some delicious smoky pork fat. That's gonna flavor the whole pot. It's amazing. Once the bacon is brown and crisp, take a slotted spoon and remove it from the pot, leaving all that rendered bacon fat behind. Set the strips of bacon aside. They're gonna go on later as a garnish, even though I forgot to add them for the pictures here. That is what you're supposed to do, and it does make it extra yummy. So just set them aside, drain them on paper towels, set them aside, and when your beef bourguignon is done and you're ready to ladle it out into bowls, you can just crumble some of that crispy bacon on top. So good. So good. Yeah, Bert knows. Bert will tell you. So you've got your hot bacon fat. It's sizzling. It's ready to go. It's time to cook something, right? So toss in your beef cubes, toss in that salt, garlic powder, pepper, get them nice and savory, get them good and crusty brown, and then you're going to use that same slotted spoon. You're going to fish those out too, because next comes the veggies. We just want to get a sear on the meat initially, and then we're going to get the veggies going. Add that little bit of butter to the pot, let that melt, toss in your mushrooms, and let them cook and get a nice brown crust on the outside. So yummy. Then you can toss in your carrots and your pearl onions. Stir them around a little bit so they can get coated in the butter and the bacon fat. Let them get a little tender. Then add your beef back to the pot along with any juices that may have collected in the bottom of the dish. That's all good stuff. That's all good flavor. You don't want to lose any of that. Drop in a few tablespoons of tomato paste. Stir everything around so it all gets evenly coated. Next, we're going to work on the roux. This is what's going to make your beef gravy so rich, thick, and delicious, so full-bodied, and so soul-warming. Sprinkle the flour all over the meat and the veggies and stir it around so everything gets coated. Tweet-tweet! We are creating a roux here, R-O-U-X, and this is the way to get the thickest, richest, most full-bodied gravy on your beef stew. Bert is all about full-bodied gravy, folks. She gets excited. Preach, girl. That flour is going to get absorbed by the juices from the beef, the bacon fat, and the veggies. It's going to dissolve. It's going to create a paste, and that's what's going to thicken the broth. Bert's super excited. Beef bourguignon gets her going. Next, you are going to pour in the wine, and I like to stir as I'm pouring, so that way I'm sure I'm not going to get any lumps. Once all the wine has gone in, you can empty your box of stock right into that pot. Give it a stir, add your herbs, and add your orange peel, and bring the pot up to a simmer. Once your pot has hit the simmer, then you can slide it into the oven and allow it to bubble away for anywhere from 2 to 4 hours. At the 2-hour mark, your gravy is going to be a little bit thinner and it's going to be sort of an orangey color, very delicious. Your meat is still going to have some bite left in it. At the 4-hour mark, the gravy will be much thicker and much darker as well. The meat will be falling apart. So I usually aim for like 3 hours. To me, that's the sweet spot, but you do you. Once your beef bourguignon is to the doneness that you like, you can take it out of the oven and ladle it into serving bowls. I am a mashed potato freak, so you know I'm not having this without my mashed potatoes. I have a great recipe for mashed potatoes, by the way. I'm going to link to it in the description. I really would love for you to try it. I think it's the best mashed potato recipe out there, and I've tried a lot of different mashed potato recipes. The best thing about it is you can make them up to like a few days ahead, and they reheat really well without getting gluey at all. all. So I've got my mashed potatoes in there. I am ladling my beef bourguignon on top. I am hitting it with some cracked black pepper, maybe a little drizzle of olive oil or a pat of butter, and I'm garnishing it with a little sprig of rosemary. And guys, could anything be better? Seriously, on a cold day, could anything be better? I don't think so. Here she comes. She wants some smoothie. You want some smoothie? Yeah, you love it. She loves it. Don't forget the bacon, like I did. The bacon really adds to it. Still really good without it, but hey, you went to the trouble of cooking it. You may as well use it, right? Now, here's my mushroom question. Okay. So I love mushrooms and I cook with mushrooms a lot, but I don't really like to have to go to the grocery store more than once a week. So I usually plan out all my meals for the week, you know, maybe even a little bit longer, maybe like 10 days worth of meals I'll plan out. And I'll make sure everything's in my shopping cart. I go pick it up and then it's in the fridge. I can't help noticing that the mushrooms really, when I buy the fresh mushrooms, they really do not hold up for more than like 2 days. After 2 days, they start to look really sorry for themselves. And maybe I'm not ready to cook with them yet, but I feel like pressure. Like mushrooms are pressuring me to use them right away. I don't need that kind of stress in my life. So I was trying to think of a solution and I thought like, well, maybe I could buy frozen mushrooms. Nah, that doesn't seem to be a thing, but canned mushrooms are a thing. Now, the old Allie was such a food snob, she would have never considered purchasing canned mushrooms. Ew, sounds so gross, right? But I thought I'd give it a try. I'm trying to open my mind. I'm trying to broaden my horizons. So I got a couple of cans and I tried them out in one of our favorite dishes. I think it was my chicken Dijon recipe, which I will also link. Honest to goodness, I couldn't tell the difference. And more importantly, neither can my kids. And believe me, they look for any excuse to turn their noses up at something that I have made for them. So this might be my new thing. This might be my new MO, is instead of buying fresh mushrooms and keeping them in my fridge, I will be buying canned mushrooms and keeping them in my cupboard indefinitely. Just make sure you drain them out before you add them to anything, because all that extra liquid is gonna prevent them from really getting a nice brown crust on them. So I really hope you love this beef bourguignon recipe. I think it can serve as a fancier winter meal or as a very casual winter meal. It's peasant food after all. So if you're having a lot of people over for the game and you want something to put on the buffet that's not like the everyday thing that we always think of for game day, maybe try some beef bourguignon, some crusty bread, some make-ahead mashed potatoes. Your friends are gonna love you and so is your family. So please enjoy this recipe. All the specifics are on bakingthemoment.com. I am linking to the article in the description here. It'll be the first link in the description. So pop on over and have yourself a look. And if you have any questions, they're probably already answered there, but if not, feel free to drop me a comment. I love hearing from you. And so does Bert. Alexa, unpause. You look like you're about to take off. You think you're gonna fly away? Where are you gonna go? Where are you gonna go? Just want to drink some smoothie, right? Thank you very much. I hope you enjoy.